Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and start this video. Hopefully, this will help you guys complete the activity. If you can do your own reading and work at your own pace, that's great. I will be walking around the room, making sure that you guys are okay. And for the ones that need extra support, I'm gonna make sure that I go through the video and make sure you guys have the support you need. Today, what you guys will be working on is Unit 3, Lesson 12, which is sprite movement. And what it is you're going to learn how to control the sprite movements using a counter pattern. And the increment on the pattern will change, which allows the sprite to create the illusion of moving. So we're going to complete all the puzzles in Lesson 12. All the puzzles must be completed on code.org and in your own account. So don't tell me that you did it and it got lost, because code.org is really good about keeping up with stuff. Um, these videos that support lesson 12, which should be the video, but this is the video that I'm creating, so I'll post it after I'm finished creating it and complete the remaining puzzles. So basically, if there's any puzzles that you need to work on, make sure you get those done too. Do not waste time. Attempt the lesson and help each other out with understanding the lesson. It is available today. The lesson itself is available today until the 6th. Remember, we have one more activity after this, so make sure you're paying attention because we're about to do our final project. So let's look at the slides real quick, make sure I don't forget anything. The question is how can we control sprite movement in GameLab? Well, um, one of the things you're going to look at is we're going to look at level 1 first. This program creates a variable counter, and when you use the counter pattern to make it count up, um, it does that by adding a 1 to the x. When you run the program, what do you think is going to happen, or what do you think you'll see on the screen? Since the x will be changing every time it's run, what do you think is going to be happening to the sprite? Read the program and predict what the output will be. Run the program to check your prediction. Discuss with your neighbor. Can you explain what you observed? Now, if you don't want to discuss it with your neighbor, that's fine. But just looking at the very first one, it says this pattern is one of the most important ones of all in all of programming, which is true. You'll see this as a very common program piece of coding, sorry, and it tells you basically a variable equals a variable plus one. So that's doing what it's doing is creating one addition to the one that's actually already there. So let's say x started with 0. Well, when you add 1, it's going to be 1. And the next time you run it through, it'll be 2. And the next time you run it 2, it'll be 3. So you keep on adding 1. It is used to increase the value of a variable by 1. You might call it a counter pattern since it can be used to make variables count up. We'll use the pattern a lot, especially with the draw loop. Let's see how it looks. So what they want you to do is this: is do this. This program creates a variable counter and then uses the counter pattern to make it count up. When you run the program, what do you think you'll see on the screen? Read the program, make a prediction, and what output will be, and run the program to check your prediction. So just looking at what you got, you have a variable, a var, count that's called counter, and that's equals 0. Then you created a function draw. Now remember, it's going to keep running and running and running and running and running forever until you tell it to stop. Um, the background's white, and if this was a regular program, I can actually click the drop down menu and it would give me a different color. The text size is counter. So right now, the first time it goes through, it's going to be 0. And then your text counter number that will appear first is 0. And it will appear at x is 1 and y is 4. So if I was to actually look at the grid, x is 0, y is 400. Sorry, I said 4. But what will happen is it's going to start counting from right here. But every time it counts, according to what's going on, it's going to add 1. So what's going to happen is it's going to start getting bigger and bigger, just like you can see that x and y and everything changing right there. That's basically what's going to happen to the numbers. They're going to start going up and up and up. So let's go ahead and run it and see if that's what we predicted. And let me actually see what I wrote, because it says counter by ones to infinity. In other words, it's going to go on forever. So I'm going to hit run and see what happens. Oh, I can see it now. Let me take off this grid. You can see it better. Oh, yeah, it's on 80, 90, 100. That counter's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'll just let it go for a little while and see how it actually looks. Oh, that's getting huge. Now it's getting to the fours. Now all you're going to see is a four in a few seconds. And pretty soon, it's only still in 50s. Or maybe it's at 600. Could be. So look how big it's getting now. And pretty soon, at some point, all we're going to see is what we think is part of a number. But once it changes, another number will pop up. So the prediction was correct. So I'm going to go ahead and punch finished. And I'm going to go ahead and continue. And then I'm going to go to number 2, which is animating sprites. And this is a video. Now, I'm not going to run the video on the video, so you have to watch that on your own. But one of the things you need to consider, or two of the questions, is what is a counter pattern? And how does a counter pattern move sprites across the screen? So once you start figuring out how the counter pattern works, you should be able to get it pretty easy. Let me go to slides real quick. I want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So here's your video, and the next thing we're going to do is look at number 3 through 6. So let me go ahead and punch continue. And see what we need to do before we go on. Okay. So what does it tell us on the slides? It says Code Studio level 3 through 6. And remember, these are puzzles. Do this. Follow the instructions on each level. If you get stuck, try the Help and Tips tab, which is located, of course, on the top right here. And code documentation. Whenever you hover over something, you let it sit a little while, you can actually see it right there, and you click it and it'll open up a whole new thing that'll kind of give you a rundown of the code itself. And if you make a big mistake, use a version history to go back. Now, I didn't do it on video, but if what happened was I actually went to version history and I went backwards. Oh, you know what? I think I know why. I was making the video earlier and I had to erase it. And the reason why I think it's having trouble is because it doesn't allow me to move it around on the mouse too much. So anyway, so what we have here is it says, using the counter pattern, you can write a program that animates sprites smoothly. Adding to or removing from a sprite's X or Y property in the draw loop makes the sprite move just a bit each time it's redrawn. Do this. Read the code that makes the jet go up the screen. Add the code that makes the plane move to the right, as in the example image. So this is the plane, that's the jet. So if I punch run right now, which you can do, you can see that the plane is not moving, but the jet is. So apparently the jet has the right code. So right here we're looking at var jet equals create sprite at 350. Remember, that says that we're gonna be here at 350 down here, and that's where the jet's gonna come from. Now var plane creates one at 5200, which is right here. And now we go to the draw function. It says blue sky. Now, can I change it? Oh, I can. See, and that's what I was talking about. You can change it. So you can change it, and before you play it, you got to reset it and run it. You see how it turns red? You can change it any color you want to, or you can make up a color. You can make it yellow. Then it says move the jet up. Let me reset it so you can see the yellow that I did. And it says jet y equals jet y minus 3. Okay, let's think about that for a second. So jet y, this is the y coordinate going up, which means instead of being a positive number like a normal geometry grid, we're doing negative. So we're actually going up -3. So that's what causes that thing to move up the coordinate. So if that's true, we're trying to make this one go to the right. Now remember, everything from here to here is positive. and everything from the top to the bottom is positive. But if you're going from the bottom to the top, it's negative. If you're going from the right to the left, it's negative. So let's go ahead and create a plane with the counter pattern. So let's go ahead and I need a variable, and so I'll grab a variable. And if you notice, it says move the plane over. So I'm going to put it right underneath that comment. Remember, the gray ones are the comments. And then remember, it says your code may have changed. Click reset and then run to see the code again. So then I'm going to go with, now remember, it's on the X going on the X. So I have to start with the X axis, not anything else. So I put that in here. Remember, get your yellow. There you go. Let it go. So let me close this. I can see it better. Then I also need to create something that looks like this. And it's orange. So I'm thinking, since it's orange, it has to be under math. And since it's going left to right, it's going to be addition. So I'm going to put that addition thing in there. And now I'm going to put sprite X. Now, is it called sprite X? No, it's called plane, because that's what I'm supposed to be animating. So I'm going to go do Control C. I'm going to Control V it. And I'm also going to put it right here because, I'm going to need to add one. Now, I'm looking at the code. Oh, I forgot something. I got to put a dot X so it replicates what's going on with this. And also, we got to think too that won't change until I actually put a number in here. So they're changing on its own. So the only thing I changed is one little piece of coding, and everything looks pretty good. And it's just add your code here. Well, maybe apparently it wanted underneath this piece, which I can do. That's fine. There. And then I punch reset and run it, and watch how both of them are moving across the screen. Give you a better view. Let me zoom in real quick, and then I'll have to zoom out. There you go. But wait a minute, they look like they're gonna hit something. Oh, well, I guess they didn't hit anything, but I'm gonna go ahead and wrap that one up and say that's finished, and we're gonna go to the next one real quick. I'm letting my internet runs pretty slow during the night, especially. So I'm gonna go ahead and get to this piece right here. It says, am I okay? So I'm still in 3 through 6. So let me go ahead and keep going until I get to 6. And it says, if adding to sprite X coordinate makes it move to the right, how could you make it move to the left? That's a pretty good question. Well, if we remember by looking at this one right here, at the one with the plane and the jet had a negative number, and it moved down to up, and the plane moved from the left to the right. So what we want to do is we want to make sure that we can, on number 4, can move something the opposite of what the normal addition is. So that means we're going to have to use subtraction. Okay, make your program animate like the image to the right. Update fly X inside the draw loop so that the fly is drawn a little bit further to the left. And it says a tip, making your sprite move faster by adding and subtracting larger numbers. That'll make your plane move quicker. So I don't have anything. I have the var, which gives me the fly. I have a background, which is sky blue. And I don't know what else. What else they got? Oh, got white, red, green, yellow. Okay, so you can change them if you want to. It says move the fly a bit to the left each time the draw loop is formed. So the draw loop's already there. So what I'm doing is I'm changing the sprite. Looks like X because it's already being drawn. So I'm going to drop this, and then I'm going to go to math, and I'm going to get me a. Well, if I put a plus, it's going to go to the right, so I need to go to negative. And I should call it fly because that's the only thing we have right now. And if that's true, I have to go get another sprite X and put it inside that little bitty space there. Little space. Sorry, I'm getting tired too. Anyways, control V. And now we're going to add about a 2 on there, see what happens. And remember, once you punch all this, you don't have to save anything. All you do is punch run. Oh, it looks like it's moving the same speed. Okay, so that's the way that one works. It all turned out okay. And I punch finished and continue, and it'll go to number 4. Sorry about the squeaky. I'm sitting on my squeaky noise. I'm sitting on my chair, and so it's really kind of messing me up too. Okay, so we're still in the bounds of 6 and 5, so I'm still working on this one right here. So updating both the X and Y properties of the sprite can make it move diagonally. You can use the watcher under the code area to see how each property changes. So basically it's this area right here. Read the code that makes the mouse go down, run the program, and look at the watchers to see what happens to X and Y. Is there any more to this? Nope, doesn't look like there's any more. Oh, okay, there's challenge. Set the sprite rotation property so it faces the direction it's moving. Ooh, we haven't used the rotation property yet. But let's see what it does right now. Okay, he moves down, and they want him to move to the side and face the way. This is the challenge. Well, let's first get him to move left to right. So this is making him move up and down. So now I'm going to go ahead and create a sprite X. I'm going to put it right underneath it because they don't work together, but they actually, are moving the same direction. Well, as far as their coordinate. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in here, and then I'm going to go ahead and get another X. And I'm going to put it right there. And then I'm going to put a 2. And that should move it across. Now there are a couple of remember I made a mistake. So the button Control Z can reset everything on that last piece that I did to undo. So I'm going to put a 2. And now it should move, but now the thing's telling me it hasn't been declared. Well, the reason it hasn't been declared is because it's not really a sprite by itself. It's a mouse name. It's a mouse variable. So control V and control V, and now let's see what happens. Oh, now it's moving in the right direction. I don't know if it's moving fast enough though, but it's moving in the right direction. Now there is one thing. It said set the sprite rotation property. Is there a rotation property? I didn't see it. I don't see it over here either. Oh, unless it was under world. It could be under draw. Could be under world. Variable. Nope. Sprite. I don't know. I don't see it. So I'm just going to kind of bypass that one. We'll look for rotation though pretty soon. I'm pretty sure it's coming up. So now we're on number 6. Okay, number 6. Well, that one says just follow instructions. It says read this program and predict sorry, I'm getting tired. Which of the following animations will be produced? So they're coming together like this, green and green, and then all of a sudden they pass and they keep moving. So nothing really rotates. Everything just goes in the same direction they've been going. So red card rotates. Yep, nope, he didn't rotate. That's not the right one then. Let me see which one rotates. Oh, I get it. The initial rotation is 90. Okay. So the red car rotates to 90, and then the yellow car rotates 180, and then the blue car is 3. Is that 270? Is that right? Hold on. I think it's 270, not 3. Let's see if there's a way to move this. And it doesn't want to move. Of course not, because the other mouse engaged. And last but not least, so they collide, but nothing happens. So the blue one is the last one up. So I can't see which one is which. So I do know the red is at 90 degrees. So that one, D, isn't right because not for the red. That one could be right. C could be right. B couldn't be, and A couldn't be. So I'm going to assume C, just by elimination by what the red card itself is doing. Okay, so it looks like I picked the right one. I'm going to go ahead and finish it. Sorry, I just want to make sure. I was looking at a couple things real quick. So now I'm on number 7, and now it's got 3 different things. So I'm going to go through. I'm going to do the spin one because I think it deals with rotation. And then I'm going to let B and C be your kind of challenge. And then we'll look at 8. And then I'll let you finish up the rest on your own. Okay, using the counter pattern on the sprite's rotation property, can you make it spin around? Let me check this real quick. I want to make sure I'm okay. If there's anything else I need to talk about before you're almost dismissed from this. This one tells me do all the practice, yeah, which is true. But 7, 8 is the big one because that's the one we got to get done for our checks, and then you can do the challenge if you want. Um, let's go ahead and finish this one. So use the counter pattern with the pan spinning rotation property to make it spin as in the image to the right. So let's go ahead and do sprite. And there's rotation finally. So you can do a couple things. I would probably put it into the program. And the reason why is last well, let me see. So before I get too caught up, we gotta make sure the sprite's right. Control V, and it looks like it's rotating. Just by the way, it's rotating. Let me see. Let me see if it'll run without that happening. Oh, there's an error. Let me pull this out real quick so I can run it, see what it's doing before. You should always run it before you do anything. So there's the pan. It's in the right position. Now it's got to rotate clockwise. So let me go ahead and put the rotation back in. And I want to try to rotate it. Now this is on the speed. This is the rotation, but you don't want it to do it super fast. So I would probably just do like a maybe 5 degrees. Remember, these are in degrees, so you got to remember to think that way, because if you don't, what you'll do is you'll think that it's like a number or space or something. Let me check it. I'm gonna reset and run it. Oh, it's not moving. Hmm. Well, that's pretty odd. Um, let me see. Well, if you get stuck, it's always best to go see an example, see what it's doing. Maybe it's just a number that I messed up on. But sprite, I'm trying to think what it was doing. Pan rotation, that's the only thing you should work with. So I'm going to go ahead and go to pan rotation. Let's see. Sorry, I know we're getting kind of close to the end here. So what I'm doing is I'm looking at this thing right here. It says rotation. So I go to rotation. It says a positive value will rotate the thing clockwise, which is the way we got to go. Negative will. So how does it look? Well, it says 1 or 10. I mean, we're pretty close on that one. So let me see what's going on here. Of course, it won't happen. Okay, so apparently there's something wrong with the rotation speed, but that's not really part of the. Let me see. Maybe if I put it on the outside, I don't know. Seeing weirder things happen. Let me punch reset and run it. No. Okay, pan rotation. Well, you know what? Come to think about it, it'll always stay at 5 as long as I do that. So I'm thinking I need to grab a math thing and increase it by a little bit. And I'm still using pan rotation. And I'm increasing it by, what do we say, 5, just to, I know it's a real, remember, Control X, and we have visitors. It's real easy to fix this. And make this pan. And there we go. Let's see if it worked. Yeah, there you go. I knew that was it. Sorry. I wasn't even thinking. Okay, so that takes care of number 7. Well, at least one of them. I'm going to go ahead and let you continue to work on B and C on your own. And let me look at 8. And then let me look at slides to make sure I don't forget anything. So 8 is our checkpoint. Or, the assessment, kind of like the real quick one. This is just going with the fishes. I've had plenty of students get this before you guys, so I think you should be all right. So as far as wrapping it up, just go ahead and we're going to do number 8, which is this one right here. And let's see. And well, that's a question. That's pretty much it. So let me go ahead and do number 8 just so you can get through it. But if you have trouble, um, continue to research it on your own or ask one of us. So the fishes are also some move at different speeds, right? So sorry, we're having a lot of trouble with this thing. Let me see if I can move it. I don't know why the recording does that, but so what they want to do is see if I can trick the thing into moving. Yeah, I did. Okay, cool. So we created all the variables, right? An orange fish, a blue fish, a green fish, right? So I'm gonna have to create a. Let's see what I gotta create, or do I have to create? Nope, I don't have to. Okay, oh, they're all there. So blue fish, green fish, orange fish. Okay. So background, navy background, orange fish is already done. What I need to do is I need to create another 2. Remember, it's not var. It's this one right here. And I'm gonna get one more. Okay. So orange fish. Well, we know that it's going to be some kind of fish, and some kind of X thing right here. So I'm going to make sure that put that in first. So it's going to be sprite X and a. Now remember, these are going to be different because they're different variables. Sorry. Okay, so one's the green fish and one's a blue fish. So I can copy and paste blue fish and green fish. Now we're almost finished, but the only thing is we're missing this little box right here. So we got to go to math. We got to put. Oh, sorry, it's not it's not positive. We're going against the uh, thing. So let me go ahead and get some right here. So we're getting ready. Let's just go ahead and make this easy. We're just going to put a 2 here. Oh, sorry. One thing moved on me. I'm going to put a 2 here and a 2 here. And then I'm going to put a. I need sprites. I need 2 of them. I need 2 sprites. So I'm going to fill this one in. 1 and 2. And then I'm just going to copy and paste blue fish and green fish, and we should be alright. Control V. And Control C. Sorry. Control V. Oh, goodness. Okay, sorry. I'm just having a little bit of trouble here. Control C. Control V. There you go. Now we got it. Now, the only thing is that those things were not running at different speeds. They were running almost close to each other, but not exact. See, the orange fish is way ahead of the green fish. He gets afraid of, he gets ahead of everybody. So the blue one's moving fast enough. Okay, I don't know why it's taking so long. The blue one's moving fast enough. But let's go make him faster, maybe to 4. And orange is faster. So let's do this. Let's make the blue fish a 4. And a 42. Let's make the blue fish the orange fish a 3 and then 2. Okay. So let's see. I don't think I forgot anything, but it will know when I hit run. Okay, so basically we fixed that, and that's all you really had to do. Just make sure that you finish that, and everything looks good, and I punch finished, and that should fill in my thing, which means that I got it. And when I look at it and grade it, I'll see that this thing is purple, and maybe you need to do the ninth one by yourself. Just kind of looking for different things that we'll be working with the next couple of weeks. Other than that, I can't think of anything else. So I'll be wandering in the room helping you guys. Make sure you watch the video if you really need a good piece of help.